BIT Sindri Alumni Association. I, Payal Priya, your host for today, welcome you all to the second episode of CatMap Season 1. CatMap is a series of intellectual interviews of BIT students who have aced one of the toughest examinations of India, that is CAT.
Well, sorry, I'd like to interrupt you. It hasn't started yet.
Okay. Is a series of intellectual interviews of BIT students who have aced one of the agenda of this webinar is to aid you with your preparation, divulge all those tips and tricks, and imbibe knowledge from our expert. Today, we have with us a BIT student itself who have scored a whooping percentile of 99.14 in CAT 2021. Welcome, sir.
Hi, good evening, Payal. Hi, Shubham.
Good evening, sir.
Sir has completed his BTech in Mechanical Engineering in the session 2017 to 2021 from BIT Sindri. We are pleased that you have accepted our invitation to be with us this evening. So, giving context, yes, sir. Giving context to that, I would now like to hand over the mic to Vikrant sir to introduce himself better right from his school days.
Okay, so my name is Vikrant Tomar. I'm a resident of Jamshedpur. I BTech in Mechanical Engineering from BIT Sindri, and I was from the batch 2017 to 2021. And you wanted me to start from my school days, right? So I did my schooling up to 10th from Motilal Nehru Public School, Jamshedpur. And then I switched to DAV Bistropur, Jamshedpur for my 10th studies. So as for my primary and secondary schooling, I was like, usually I used to consistently stay in the, I was a very competitive kid. I used to stay in the top 3 always, like it was my yearly goal. I wanted to be in that felicitation program on 6th May, the birth anniversary of Pandit Motilal Nehru. So that's how my school days went. Then I switched to for 10+2. What happened there was that the entire creme de la creme students of Jamshedpur accumulated in one place, that one school, and the competition was so fierce. I got lost. I used to struggle to even stay in the top 5. So that's how I went kind of downhill overall, but like progressing on an individual level. And then BIT happened, and there was a very a very massive change when I entered BIT. My first goal was to get into extracurriculars. I hadn't participated in much extracurriculars back in my school days, so that was one thing I really wanted to do. So I did that, and it really reflects in my scores, like going from the 90s to 80s in BTech. So I don't regret that fact. I have made memories and got some very relevant experience and friends, of course, friends and seniors. So that's it. That sums up my very casual introduction from my school days.
Thank you for that, sir. Sir, can you give us a walk through your BIT journey and the practices that led you where you are today?
Okay, so let's begin with the freshman year. Like we all do, we entered BIT, and we were missing a few amenities, we were not we used to get at home. So that was concerning, but I usually say that my strength is adaptability, and I adapted to it very quickly. So my first hostel experience and staying away from home, that didn't bug me much. And then what happened was, I had nothing to compare BIT with, like any other college. It was my first experience, my prima facie. So what happened was, during vacation, I went to my friends and they were talking about placements and big 4 companies mass hiring from their campuses, and other such things like electives and all. And I was like, am I even in a college? We miss these things, right? But BIT has a certain kind of kick to it, right? Like I used to say to my friends, "You are going to become engineers. I'm going to become a better person. I'll be strong. You cannot like. Uh, I won't feel defeated in any situation." So like that was my how my freshman year went. I had decided priorly decided to enter extracurriculars, so I joined two clubs, one Rotaract club and the other I joined Sarjana. So Sarjana happened like at the very end of the first year, and let's in the first year we were like very concerned about attending lectures. So that's something like we used to take the long route, like we had to go through that infamous Murga road. So we still took that road. We used to go attend lectures twice a day, like before break, after break, and we used to attend classes diligently back then. Then the sophomore year happened, and like we could just get out of your hostels and watch I could view my department from my hostel gate, but still we used to like not attend lectures then. So that was a drastic change from first to second year. I'm not telling you to not attend classes. I'm just saying what I did. Don't do that. My scores dipped really badly in my second year, and like third year, like we had only 2.5 years of BTech, right? So my third year went. Uh, I don't even remember my third year. It was
That because
my
it went online.
no, it didn't go online. Like the first half of my third year was pretty much offline. Got to like we got the vibes of the P zone, getting connected with our seniors. That was one thing. Like I used to uh, spend most of my time in the senior hostels. So that's a thing that I grasped in my half of the third year. And then what to say about the online era, the e-BTech. So I guess I'll just keep mum on that. That's it.
I guess now you used to miss that Murga Road and Tiger Road and MG.
Yes.
Moving forward, we all know that mechanical engineering comes with a vast opportunities and a vast syllabus as well. So, uh, graduating from such a core branch, landing into the IT industry, why MBA?
See what happened in my third year. Like I've been a fool saying that I don't have anything to share about my third year. I would like to differ on that right now. Back in my third year, the fifth semester, we had these two elective papers called Operations Research and Project Management. And that's when I really felt like studying something. So, like, those subjects were so interesting, especially operations research. It was completely application based, very less theory and everything. Like, you understand a method and work around a problem to arrive at its solution. So, that was very intriguing to me. So, that became one of the impetuses that led me to pursue an MBA further. And rest of the subjects in mechanical, like I won't say that I liked all of them. I was good at it, no doubt. Uh, I wasn't like in the top 15, top 20 of my branch. So, but what happened during the placement season was that I got placed at TCS, and then I had like there was a limit to participate in the placements, right? So I had all my I had used all of my what do you say, the opportunities, the limit. So what happened was then I couldn't participate, and then I joined TCS, and then I got to like interview for another company, and I got placed at it. But by that time, I had grown quite fond of this IT work. Like I'm not from a CSIT background, right? So, but I'm currently in a web developer role. So my daily tasks are like all of them are new problems to me. I have to figure out solutions, research everything. So I kind of like that role. So that was also one, like I wrote down a complete list of pros and cons of switching to the another job. But at the end, I decided to stay at this job and focus on my further MBA goal.
Before moving to the next question, I have a message to our audience that if you have any questions for our speaker, please feel free to drop it over the comment section. It will be addressed at the end of the session during the special Q&A round. So moving to the next question. So now you said that from third year only, you started preparing for CAT. So between all those semesters, vivas, assignments, and after that in your IT industry also, you said that you came with a new challenge every day. So how did you manage with your preparation of CAT?
See, first of all, I never mentioned that I started preparing for CAT back in my third year. I said that there was an event, that operations research that happened to me, and it later became a motivation for me to pursue further study into it. I diligently started preparing for CAT right like 3 months before the exam back in 2020 in September. So before that, I'll tell you, there's a funny story why I wanted to do CAT in the first place back as a sophomore. Uh, when we landed in second year, seniors and our friends, batchmates, we used to say this, that you have to figure out a further goal beyond placements, like you have further studies, and everyone in mechanical is all crazy for gate. So I just downloaded this gate. I don't remember which year, previous year paper, I downloaded it, and the first section is aptitude. I went through the apti section and I was like, okay, it's doable. And then I got into the technical area and I just got a deja vu kind of feeling, like it's J advance all over again. And I don't want to go through that ever. So what other option do I have? So my first reason to pursue, like prepare for CAT, was that I don't want to do GATE. It was an option elimination, not like I wanted to do that. I was like a kid back then, so the reasons have completely changed now. And what was the other question? How do I manage? See, uh, if you say that you're going to pursue MBA and you're asking the question, how do you manage? That's kind of paradoxical, don't you think? Like, that's what we have to do. So it should be a cognitive skill that you develop, managing everything. And you have to be a problem solver. Like, I am all into it. Just give me a problem and I'll figure out its solution. I will take as much as time, but I will figure out its solution. It intrigues me a lot. So I suppose that answers your question.
Thank you for your answer, sir. That's quite an experience. So we all know that even after acquiring all those technical skills, we cannot survive in professional world if we are not able to present ourselves properly to the interviewer. For that, we must acquire good communication skills. So what's your take on this?
See, in an interview, both your content and your communication both equally matter, or sometimes they go like change the balance sometimes. I went through a lot of interviews and I didn't clear any one of them. Like, I just cleared 2 placement interviews, and last year I had interviewed for the cap round IMs, and I ended up with a few of the latest IMs. So when it comes to interview, I'm not the best person. I am like totally terrible at interviews. So um, as for the communication skills, yes, it's a major factor, but what's the point of having communication skills, like a very what you can say, excellent communication skills, when you don't have the content to speak on? Okay, so you have to like be thorough with both of them. And yes, communication skills play a very major role. You have to be like, if you see, what I'm saying is, you have the content and you have the communication skills are the way to express them. They both go hand in hand.
Okay, so moving forward, this is the hack we all want to crack in life. What's your strategy to avoid pre-exam jitters?
Pre-exam, like as a competitive exam or semester exams?
So with every exam, there's a nervousness that we have in our mind.
Yes, there's an anxiety, but it depends on the exam, right? Like for semester exams, I won't study for a month or a week. I will study night before the exam. Okay, so that's the thing. And if you're asking me about CAT or SAT or the other omits, the other management entrance tests, then like I feel motivated to pursue them. I feel motivated to crack them. So I study. Like this year I prepared for like 5 to 6 months, and I prepared consistently. So I have that drive for those exams, and I would say that your preparation, your more confidence, all depends on the exam that you're looking forward to. And as for the anxiety and nervousness, I also got a lot of like, I'll share an experience with you. What happened during CAT 2020 was, there are three sections, right? VARC, LRDI, and quantitative aptitude. So VARC was done. Like I took some mocks, but like mocks are to prepare. Mocks are simulation of the actual exam, and they prepare you for the D-Day. So, but this time what happened? Due to the lockdown, mocks couldn't happen in the coaching centers. So we had to rely on our personal systems at home. What happens at home is that you are in your comfort zone, and on the D-Day, it everything changes. Like I went to the center, and the mouse clicks were bugging me a lot. The hundreds and thousands of mouse clicks, like I wasn't able to focus on VRC. But how somehow I got through that paper. Then LRDI happened, and LRDI I messed up so badly. Uh, how could I say that? There were 6 sets back then, and I picked the most difficult one. Set selection is the key in LRDI, by the way. I picked the most difficult one. I went on solving it, and when I looked at the timer, 4 minutes were left out of the 40 minutes, and I had solved only 4 questions. So you can like imagine the anxiety, right? And like you have 4 minutes on your clock, and you have just solved 4 questions. What are you going to do? How's anxiety going to help you anyway? So I had this thought at the back of my mind that CAT 2021 is it is 2020 is gone. I cannot do anything about it. So after that thought, I was completely calm. The anxiety was completely gone. I was completely calm, and in those 4 minutes, I solved another 4 questions. And so I would say that in a competitive or any exam, the a calm mind is. I'm not trying to be philosophical or anything. It's just my experience. Just there was a dialogue in the new Spider-Man movie, right? Expect disappointment and you'll never be disappointed. And I believe in that. So I guess that would sum up my uh, method to avoid anxiety and nervousness.
After hearing your experience, I guess life was easy when cat was just an animal. So,
Definitely.
so moving on, let's hear about the subject-wise strategy. So let's start with the quantitative aptitude section. Could you please share the tips and techniques that you followed for this section?
So I had enrolled at a coaching center back in second year, but the quantitative aptitude syllabus starts with number system, and I got into number system. I didn't like it. I still haven't practiced it. I gave CAT 2020, CAT 2021, and other omits, but I never studied number system. It's out of my comfort zone. So for the same reason, I used to abscond a lot of classes. I didn't attend them. So my actual preparation began. I was very underconfident when it came to CAT. So what happened was in August 2020, at the very end of August 2020, I decided to take a previous year paper. It was CAT 2018, and I scored very well in VARC and very less in LRDI in quantitative aptitude. But what happened was that CAT 2018 was known for its very tough LRDI and QA. So when I checked my like you can go online and find the percentile wise score and those scales and all. So I checked my score based percentile, what it could have been in that exam, and I was getting around 95 and 95 in both the mathematical sections, LRDI and QA, and 88 in VRC, even though I had done so well in that. So all around, I had a score of 116 in 300 mark paper. I believe that would have been 93 to 94 percentile back in 2018, and that boosted my confidence a lot. So I had like 3 months to jump from 94 to supposedly 98. I wasn't like 99 is the goal. 99 was my goal that year, but I was like in the ballpark of 98, and I ended up with a 97.4. So for QA, what happened was, like I said, I wasn't very well with number systems. I didn't like that subject. I started giving mocks right away. I didn't have a lot of time, September, October, November, and half of my September went I was infected with COVID. So like 15 to 20 days went in that. And another 15 to 20 days went in my cousins visited us from Gujarat. So they visited us after like 2 years. So that's also like I effectively prepared for 2 months. That's the thing. Uh, I was good. We engineers or science students, we are already good at things like algebra, geometry, and arithmetic. These three are the like they take the major portion in the QA syllabus. Other than that, you have modern maths and number system. Those two, I would say that those two can be avoided if you don't like that. If you don't like feel like studying them, you don't get the concepts right. And QA CAT, let me tell you something about the QA, the level of the QA in CAT. It's completely up to 10th. It doesn't even delve into the 11th, 12th syllabus of science students, because CAT is an exam for everyone. And anyone from arts or commerce, those background people, don't like, they don't usually study mathematics after 10th, or even if they do, they like know the very basics. So the questions that would be asked there would be no like uh, what you can say, for example, maximum minimum question. How would you solve a maximum minimum question? The first thing that would strike your mind would be differentiate, right? But if you go on differentiating in cat, uh, you're already caught in a trap. Okay, so there are other methods like AMGM inequality, AMGM inequality, and option elimination, substitution. Those tricks, those very, what you can say, those sound very trivial, but they have to hit you at the right time in the exam. Those help in the in solving those problems, those tricks and those methods. So I would say that QA is not very comprehensive. You don't have to study a lot. You just have to practice in that. Like take sectionals, take mocks, and you'll find your way. You'll improve your accuracy and your speed. Like what happens sometimes is they change the if there's a profit and loss question, they will ask you the answer in certain zeros. They will mention it at the end of the question, and you won't notice it, and you would mark the wrong answer, or you would enter the wrong answer in the text type answer. So they actually check your presence of mind, your common sense, more than your mathematical calculative skills. They are providing you a calculator. What are they even checking about you? So I was kind of good at QA. In my first attempt itself in CAT or NDT, I had a 98 percentile in QA. And this year I have a 99.67 percentile in QA. So strategy wise, I don't have much to say. I would just say that go online, find some resources. Like I would suggest a few sites like 2IM or Bodhi Prep, or even inside IM mini mocks are good. And the other than that, the mocks that you would take in starting from June, July, whatever. So yeah, that's it. Uh, and watch your videos. Like I didn't join any coaching this year. It was completely self study. So you don't have to like there are a lot of resources available on the internet, on YouTube, and an academy free courses. Go through them, and I don't think you have to even prepare notes for that. I mean, I didn't. Um, so that's it about my QA preparation.
That's quite an explanation, sir. Now let's talk about the logical reasoning and data interpretation section. What your strategy for these sections?
See, so I had already taken a hit from LRDI back in CAT 2020. So I was intimidated by it. And what added to my agony was that I had picked the wrong question in CAT 20, wrong set. And when I attempted that same paper 6 months later, I was able to solve all 6 sets. So that was really, really like for very painful for me. Like, why did I solve that in the actual exam? So the key to LRDI is set selection. And how do you develop that set selection technique? Uh, Again, mocks and sectionals. So what happens is like the syllabus of LRDI is not fixed. Like only the syllabus in QA you can assume it to be fixed. In the other two subjects, it's not fixed. But you can expect a few general patterns like a force and Venn diagram. Like I was good at LR, not a DI. I completely loathed TI. And for LR, you can expect arrangements. I really like solving arrangements. You have to like fall in love with the process, the problem solving attitude, that you have to fall in love with the puzzles. That's the thing to like getting away with LRDA. And like I said, the key to it is set selection. And when you go through the mocks, you will find that it will the question, the set will scream to you that pick me. That happens. Okay, so if you look, once you're done with your mocks, you'll slowly realize this fact that there's a set, and even though the language is very lengthy, like you at first glance an amateur would completely skip that question, but you have taken a few mocks, you're like almost a pro, and you look at the question, it screams to you, read me at least, spare me a minute or two, you read that and you can solve it. So that's kind of an automatic process, a cognitive skill that you develop while solving mocks and sectionals. So that's all about LRDA.
Before moving to the next question, there is a message for our audience. If you have any question, please feel free to drop it over the comment section. Our speaker will address it at the end of the session. So now let's move to the VARC section. For many aspirants, it's a nightmare. So what's your strategy with this section?
See, I've been moderately good with VARC. Uh, I won't say I prepared much for. I prepared consistently for it. Like I was uh, saying that I prepared uh, uh, for 5 to 6 months consistently every day. So for VARC, what I did was I gave CAT 2020, and I realized that my weak points were VA. RC is okay. It's all about your comprehension skills. VA was my uh, what you can say Achilles' heel. So what I did was I found some resources online, and I used to solve para summary, para jumbles, odd one outs every day. Like I used to solve at least an plus 2-3 hours every day. So developing that consistency was the key to improving my score in VRC this year, and of course the mocks and sectionals. And like a lot of people say that reading helps you in VARC. Um, Reading was I was a diligent reader back in school up to 12th. Like I identified as a book hunter. I would go into the library, school library, and uh, look for books that piqued my interest. But once I entered college, and I decided to get into extracurriculars and do more physical activities, so I kind of lost that habit of book reading. Plus our library doesn't cater to literary sources and all, so that was also a reason. And the PDF reading is not for me. Like I'm not into reading from the screen. uh, like it's just not my thing. So in these 4 to 5 years, I would say that I have lost my habit of reading, and it has affected me quite a lot in VRC. So like everybody says, they're not just saying it like as hearsay or a rumor. They are they are completely valid with this point that you have to read to improve your VRC skills. And what you can read, you can go online, find some good books. Like last year, I started to revive this lost habit of mine, and I read a few books again on the PDF screen and all. So I kind of dropped them midway. There was this one book that I would recommend, and I finished it completely. It was the longest book that I read last year. Uh, a Fine Balance by Rohinton Mistry. Please do go and read this book. It's a very good book. It's about the emergency period that happened during 1975 to 77, and ends with the 1984 Sikh genocide. So It was it's fictional, but historical fiction, you could say. So that book really helped me get back into reading. And one very unconventional thing that I believe helped me with my reading speed was uh, like no one's gonna believe that, but I watch a lot of anime. So what happens when you watch anime is I prefer the subbed version, the Japanese version, and with the like it's original, it's authentic. It gives you that feel of authenticity. So I watched that in Japanese. So what happens in the subbed version is you get the subtitles. Now the thing with subtitles is that you have to keep up with the pace of the scene as well as read the subtitle. So I believe that helped me a lot with increasing my reading speed. So that's something I would not suggest, but it comes out of you learn what you can say, you learn from everything. Whatever you do, you take a few learnings from there, you take a few skills from there. So to sum up, I would say that the keys, particularly respectively to QA, is a problem-solving attitude, not your mathematical skills. For LRDI is correct set selection, which is also a skill that you develop as you go through the mocks and sectionals. And for VARC, it's consistency. Like you cannot become a pro at VRC in just a week or a month or even 3 months. You have to practice every day. You can skip on QA and LRDI, but never skip on VRC.
Even I'm a big anime fan, so I've never thought about that. So everyone dreams that before opting for MBA कि मैं भी एक दिन CEO बनूंगा. So have you figured out about your specialization and the college you are targeting?
First of all, who does that? Like, I would
So
want
it's
to be a
just
CEO. Uh, I don't believe that's a general consensus, but what specialization? See, uh, you're specifically asking me why MBA, right?
yes, sir.
Why
I'm
MBA?
asking what. No, sir.
No, no, you are
I'm.
specifically asking me why MBA and which specialization in that, right? So what happened was back in second year, I went for a project training at Tata Steel, and while going through that, visiting the plant and all, I came across so many aspects of the operations. I had a maintenance project, the daily working of the plant, that those were out of my technical syllabus. There were a lot of things like what I can say. My project was on hydraulics, so I was supposed to uh, focus on that. But there were the things that intrigued me the most were the organizational behavior and the employer. No, I wouldn't say employer. The employee relations, the relations between the management and their subordinates. So when lockdown happened, we had a lot of free time. I utilize that free time in introspection, what interests me, and where do I see myself, what do I want to pursue. So this interactive thing, this sense of human interaction, uh, this was like this was on my mind in a dominant way. So this helped me figure out that I would want to go for human resource management. And there was another reason for that as well, that back even in college, during my uh, minimal 2.5 years of BTech, I used to stay active in the club activities, and I like to play roles, such roles like that affected the members, and I would always look forward to inductions and all, and how would the inductions will be planned, and what like when the lockdown happened, we had to change a lot of methods, especially in Sarjana, we had to take a very traditional written assessment and interview method to completely online format. So designing those new methods and everything, this kind of pushed me to realize that really I would want to go into a role where I get to interact with people. Okay, so that's why I decided to, even though my technical degree reinforces the fact that I should go for operations and all, but I have made my mind. I'll go for human resource management.
That clearly depicts that we learn everything from our life. So you have already mentioned that you are not so good in terms of interview. So what will be your strategy when you'll be having one interview?
See, what happened was I assume I'm not good at interviews because I have faced most of the interviews that I've faced have been technical interviews, and I wouldn't say that I'm good at the technical stuff. But last year I attended two B school interviews. The first one was a complete mess because I went in completely unprepared. Like I knew I was going for Cat 2021, so I just went for the interview, and it went really, really bad. So I decided that the second interview, it was for MDI Gurgaon. Uh, I knew that I wasn't getting in with such a low percentile and no work but I decided to give everything to that interview. So I prepared very well for that interview, and it happened on April 14th until April 13th. We had our offline exams back at BIT campus, and I left the hostel in the morning, reached home, and attended the interview, and it went really well. So I wouldn't say it was my 100% because I left the college at 7:30. I left the campus at 7:30. Reached home. I was sleepy. I was hungry, and I hadn't slept the last night because it was our final day of our. I wouldn't say final year. Final year didn't happen to us. It doesn't exist. Our final days, like 2K17 batch went through final days, not final year. So I couldn't really miss that thing. That last night with my friends and everyone. So, but I believe that I had improved quite a lot in that interview, and I believe that I will improve this year a lot, much more over that particular interview. And for that, I'm preparing like I'm not focusing much on my communication skills. Like I said, I believe it's quite apt. It's quite good for an interview, but I'm preparing on the content. I got to interact with a few seniors, some from the premium B schools, and got their inputs like what I can expect. And some seniors, like, they guide you so well, right? You uh, you just cannot fathom the fact, like, they give you a question you wouldn't even think of, and you would go like, sir, ma'am, I wasn't even expecting that I could be asked this question. Like, there was this senior I had consulted for this interview for college, and she told me to prepare for the budget from all perspectives, like what the budget covers. It's in the financial terms, in health terms, what's the USP of the budget this year. And I could relate to the fact because I was asked that same question back last year in the MDI interview. So for the interview preparation, I'm completely, not completely, I'm majorly relying on my senior experiences.
So we are relying on that too.
You should.
So now I would like to hand over the mic to Shubham Sahu to address the queries that were posted in the comment section by the audience. Over to you, Shubham sir.
Thank you, Payal. Now we'll move to the Q&A session round. There are a few questions that have been put down in the chat box. The first question is from Ankita. How to perform better in VARC, sir?
I guess I have already answered that question, Amita. Consistency is the key to VRC, like for me at least. Solve RCs, I wouldn't say solve, that's not the correct word here. Go online. I would say go to bodhiprep.com and find there are completely free resources there, and attempt RCs and parajumbles, parasummary, odd one outs. Like these four topics only cover the VRC portion, and diligently solve them every day consistently. Pick two RCs, then after a month or two, go for three RCs, then four RCs, and even keep a track of even you don't have to keep track of time when you solve these questions. Like standalone questions. You can definitely have the timer in the mock. So that's it. I would say consistency, solve every day.
Okay, so does newspaper reading like is it of any help, of major help, like as it helps the UPSC aspirants? So is it something CAT aspirants can relate to?
Yes, definitely. You can go for newspapers because first of all, newspapers. When you read for VRC, you have to first read. It doesn't matter what you read. You can read fiction, you can read newspapers, anything. But there's this another benefit that comes from reading newspapers is that you get a hold of current affairs, and that's something that I completely missed out on. And I would share a very what I can say, an agonizing experience of mine. Uh,
Sure.
for people here expecting to write CAT this year, don't just focus on VRC, Q, and LRDI. Focus on GK as well, because in when you if you mess up CAT, what's the other way? It's either ZAT, SNAP, NMAT, or IFT. And in ZAT and IFT, there's GK section, even in testnet. And in IFT and testnet, GK carries a sectional cutoff. So what happened this year with me was that in ZAT, there's no sectional cutoff for GK. And I scored very poorly in GK. I have a 70 percentile in GK and ZAT. But that doesn't matter. I have calls from Accelerate, so that doesn't matter very much. It doesn't add up
Yes.
to the overall percentile. But in IFT, what happened was you won't believe this, but I have I 4.5 marks in GK. And the last year's cutoff for GK was 5.5. Okay, so if the last year's pattern repeats, I won't be getting a call for just 1 mark, and I don't think I have to like explain why that's painful for me. Plus, the most painful part is that I have a 99.76 percentile in IFT. So never avoid GK, and that's why I would say that's why I'm stressing on the fact that you should read newspapers. Don't. This is a mistake of mine. Learn from it. Learn from my mistake, and
Yes.
read newspapers. Read articles, especially business articles and all. If you're not into politics and all, then like media houses have this very weird sense of storytelling when it comes to politics and all. So go for business news, and also go for international, national news, and current affairs and everything. And don't just stick to newspapers. Like you can uh, go through the coaching centers. Also provide a very good collection of reading material in the form of news and bulletins. So that's something you should definitely do. uh, Never avoid if you don't like it, you even if you don't like it, you have to read newspapers.
Sure, sir. I think we had this similar question about GK from Pappu Singh, how to perform well in GK, and I think he must have got his answer.
Yes.
Sir, we have this question from Praful, sir. What will be your advice to students in first and second year of PIT Sindri?
Advice as in, okay, so first of all, you are the e-BTech batch, so I cannot relate to you, so there's no point
Yes.
in making an advice. But try to discover, like, get yourself involved in extracurricular activities as much as you can, even if online. And obviously, if you have friends in the same city, go meet them, plan meetups and all. Even the lockdown and all, the conditions subside a little, then go visit the campus also. Like I went through this video where people were not even sure that there's a mess in the hostels and all. So that was kind of unanticipated for us. And you don't have to stress a lot on competitive exams in first and second year, not even in third year. You can focus all on that in the final year itself. For cat and omits, not for gate. If you're going for gate and all, I'm not the right
Yes.
person.
Okay, sir. So we have this question from Akshay Raj, that he wants to know that from where did you did your preparation while you were in BIT, that specific coaching and the lectures of any CAT institution.
See, so for CAT 2020, I had taken coaching from Career Launcher Dhanbad. Okay.
Okay.
And
Yes.
for CAT 2021, there was no specific coaching. I collected a few online free resources and it was a complete self-study.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Sir, this question is from Vivek Kumar. Uh, this question is a bit interesting. There's always a dilemma among young graduates, like which path to pursue. So, how long did you took to ascertain that you have the requisite skills, the requisite managerial skills as such, and you'll be pursuing MBA in the near future?
See, it's a perpetual process. Like what I can say. Back in college, I believed like I can manage if I can manage my classes, my extracurriculars, and my personal life, all everything. So I'm good at management. That was the first. That was the first thing I thought of as a uh, first or a second year. Then the third year happened, and I got into the uh, not the third year. I had actually started studying finance back in second year just to get a taste of it, the basics of finance, and I didn't like it. I really abhor finance. I would definitely not go for it. And then in third year, I got exposed to this operations research and project management, these papers. And from final year itself, a lot of things changed, right? You went
Yes.
completely online and you had a lot of time to uh, sit and introspect and think about a direction. So my life experience, it could be completely different for you. It's definitely going to be different for you. You're the e-batch. So
Yes.
uh, it will point you into a direction, and my experience points me in the direction of management. And another thing that when I started this answer by saying that it's a perpetual process, um, I would give a very objective answer to this by saying, by sharing this experience, like I am working as a web developer. So what happens sometimes is like my project, I develop something and I get the feedback that it's not complete from a business point of view. What's that business point of view? I don't understand that. So that creates a curiosity in me that I want to go study it. Why am I even doing this with half-baked knowledge, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
if management is so crucial, then why even am I not getting into it? And one more experience that I would like to share was that when I first entered BIT, there was back in freshman year, this one professor had said, uh, you're all in mechanical. You're not going to become engineers. You're all going to become managers." And this what- this saying of his is this bugged me quite a lot. And I used to think, why did he say that? Then I third year happened, finally happened, and I got to interact with my seniors and all, who were professionals who were working in mechanical jobs. And my perspective of placement from mechanical engineering was completely changed when most of them said that they were in managerial roles. So I was like, everyone, there should be like two ways to get into management: get placed, get hands-on experience in a company, and you're a manager. The other way is attend a college and then go for a theoretical study, do internships, and then you become a manager. So I kind of chose the latter path. Eventually, you're going to become a manager. That's the thing. That's not changing.
Yes, I'll really agree with this number of assignments and the Viva, the thing that we goes, we have definitely become a manager, as you rightly mentioned. Sir, Shubham's question is that what all hindrances came your way during the CAT preparation and how did you deal with it?
Hindrances, first of all, lack of direction, lack of clear sense of direction, because in CAT during CAT 2020, I was not even thinking of appearing for the CAT 2020.
Yes.
My internship got revoked. It was a research internship at a premium B school, and it got revoked because the campuses were shut down back in June when it was supposed to commence. And I had devoted myself to freelancing back then. Uh, and I was kind of making money and uh, paying bills, and I was not even contemplating about giving back. I just wanted to get placed, and my first choice was the first path that I mentioned. But what happened in August is that I gave the previous year paper, and by September I started preparing, thinking that I should just give it for the experience. I was not very keen on getting into a college without work ex. And then what happened is when I got to got into IT, uh, I got exposed to a very different perspective of management. Okay, so that made me feel like I was thinking of the second part now, and what I could say, I was uh, I didn't want to delay my studies further. Like I wanted to be consistent. In 12th, I didn't take a gap. After that, I didn't take a gap. I did my BTech, and I've been working for 7 months now. So I wanted to be consistent with that as well. And the thing that I mentioned, that there are few occasions when I'm reminded that uh, this app you have developed is not complete as per the business standards and all. So why am I working with, like I mentioned, half-baked knowledge? So that was also a reason. There are a lot of reasons, right? When you mention a question, but every reason it points you into the same direction. MBA. Every single experience, every single reason, it points you into the same direction. So
Agreed,
that's it.
sir. So there's one interesting question about the B schools. They have a very tight schedule during the entire course. So how are you planning to handle those pressure?
I'm not planning anything about that. Really, I'm not planning anything about that, because see, my biggest concern right now is getting into a B school in the first place. Then we'll plan. Life goes on, and we've been managing everything. I've been managing everything up till now. We'll continue to do so. Everyone does. But the main point is getting into a B school right now.
Okay, sir. So Rahul's question is that he's facing difficulty in solving level 3 questions of Arun Sharma, the book which CAT aspirants go through. So any suggestions to improve that?
See, I dropped Arun Sharma. I never solved
Okay.
that book. So I don't know what's the segregation rules for level 1, level 2, level 3. I never solved questions in levels. I just went online, found some sectionals or mocks, and I just solved them. Or the best thing to do is solve previous papers. I never go for questions like level in levels. And people say that you should avoid level 3 questions. If you cannot solve level 3 questions, it's not much of a hassle, because CAT is not going to focus on that. See, in CAT, especially in QA, this year we had 22 questions. So let's say there are 22 or 26 questions. Every question carries 3 marks. Okay. And the key that I mentioned to clearing QA was being a problem solver. So what comes under this one very interesting point that comes under problem solving is that uh, sniffing out the correct question, the question that screams to you that solve me, I'm easy. So you should go for those questions. And if you find a level 3 question, just avoid it, because a level 3 question and level 1 question both have 3 marks assigned to them, right? You don't get step marking and all. The problem with us engineers is like, we take it up our ego. Why cannot I solve this question, this
Yes,
profit
sir.
and loss question, or this algebra question, this geometry? That like even I used to think that that commerce guy doesn't even know about geometry. I can solve this question. I will solve this one. You don't have to do that. Like every engineer, you must have seen that movie Pushpa. Okay, so
Yes,
every
sir.
engineer, if he cannot solve that question, he becomes like, "मैं झुकेगा नहीं."
Yes, sir.
You,
Very well.
but you have to, like, तुमको झुकना होगा, and झुको and just skip that question. Okay, so that's one thing that I learned while preparing for QA. I missed to point that out. So thank you. Was it Rahul? Right. Thank you, Rahul, for asking that question. That like gave you another very a preparatory point for QA.
Yes, sir. Definitely, I think Rahul must have got his answer. So there's one last question from Diksha Tanu. She is in this dilemma that she has heard this notion that generally IM schools, the big premier schools, they prefer candidates with working experience. So she is worried as in she should get the placement right now and join a company and then go for MBA, or
See,
should she be directly joining that? Yes.
First of all, figure out which college do you want to enter. Like for my specialization, I want to do HRM, and there are very select few colleges that provide specialized courses, diploma in HRM. So my dream school is obviously for HRM, the numero uno XLRI. And even though I have a very low SAT score, I have a 96 percentile in SAT, but I look forward to my interview. I have calls from XLRI for both programs, and I that's what I was saying, that first figure out which college do you want to enter, and if you, that college go through its eligibility criteria, what kind of 10th 12th grad scores they uh, generally set their cutoffs at. I mean, what the cutoffs go every year, the trends. And for IIMs, I would say, if you are preparing for CAT in the aspirant consensus, you would come to know that IIMs like Bangalore and Lucknow, they focus heavily on work ex. Ahmedabad and Calcutta too, but Bangalore and Lucknow more. Uh, Especially ABC, they don't give you any points for a work ex of less than 12 months. But that's a very dynamic point that could change anytime. And I'm not very sure about the IIMs because I don't have calls from any of the top six IIMs. And I wasn't even expecting those at 99.14. But I am looking forward to some premier non besides XLRI. My second or third preferences would be the IITs or MDI Gurgaon, and of course NITI Mumbai. So
Yes.
go online, uh, see what these colleges are looking for, and you'll get your answer. And if you're like you really want to get into MBA, see colleges even take freshers. Freshers form a major chunk of the batch profile. It usually goes in the range of like, even in the highs of 30 to 40% as well. Okay, because freshers bring in a consistent perspective. So it's completely up to you. You can even go for workplace if you think you can manage your preparation. I won't say that prepare with your job, prepare in your final year. Like preparing for CAT is like learning swimming or cycling. You never forget that. You're not gonna forget that. It's
Yes.
these are skills, not something that you mug up. So it's completely up to you. What's your condition, or do you want to uh, go for 3 to 4 years of work or you just want to enter as a fresher? Uh, that's it. I just gave you my perspective. What it's all about.
Yes, sir. So I hope Diksha must have got her answer. So there's one question, but I think you would like to. So the question is, which IIM have you got? So as far as I know, your interviews are scheduled in the month of March. So
Do you know? I haven't shared the dates with anyone yet.
okay, sir. So that's
Uh,
it from the Q&A round. Yes, sir.
no, nothing, Shubham. Go on.
Okay. Over to you, Payal.
So before wrapping up, you know that this video is going to be forever on YouTube. So what will be your final message to our viewers?
See, first of all, the word final, like I mentioned yesterday, it's quite painful for us who didn't get to experience a final year, which by the way, doesn't exist. And I would say my message would be believe in yourself. Uh, I say that because everything that I say comes from my experiences. I had cleared these latest few IMs, and the society goes all. Uh, they criticized me and my family a lot that your son, he just left the IM tag and went for IT job. He's a complete fool. What if he doesn't crack CAT the next year? So you if you like if you're in my shoes, you would have to go through that, but believe in yourself. Like just prove them wrong. by obviously improving, and don't let that thing affect you in any way, you and your family, never. So that's something from my side.
So wrapping up, thank you for such an insightful and entertaining session, sir. On behalf of whole BIT Sindri fraternity, I wish you very best of luck for your future endeavors.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you
With
so much,
this,
Payal.
I pile yes, sir. With this, I pile Priya sign out. Thank you.